Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Beetlejuice, which is the sequel to that classic 1998 Tim Burton movie, and once again stars Michael Keaton as you-know-who. The plot to this movie takes place 36 years after the original. Lydia Dietz, played again by Winona Ryder, has to return to the house from the previous film because her father recently passed away. And in doing so, she is not only reunited with her stepmother, Delia, played again by Catherine O'Hara, and not only is she reunited with her estranged daughter, Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega, but she has to confront her past, more specifically in the form of you-know-who. Before we continue, if you like this review and you want to see more videos like this, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and also go ahead and hit that bell button to get notifications when a new video is released. Anyway, let's continue with the review. So I was very skeptical about this movie coming out for a couple reasons. The first one is that Tim Burton hasn't really been that great of a director for years. He's had some good movies in the past 20 years, I think, here and there, like Sweeney Todd. I really like Big Eyes, but that didn't really get a lot of attention. And most of his other movies have just been terrible, especially Dumbo. And also, with a movie as great as, well, I'm not going to say that name because I've already said it twice. It's just such a unique and original idea. It's so imaginative. The best way to describe this movie is that it's the most Tim Burton-y movie that Tim Burton has ever Tim Burtoned. And I just rewatched it a couple days ago before this film, and it is amazing. I absolutely love that movie even more. And I'm kind of shocked it didn't make it to my top 100 list. But you know what, that's an eternal crisis for another time. But now we finally have the sequel, 36 years later, and a lot of the concerns that I had with this movie about just not being good or repeating everything from the original, where it's just kind of a remake of the original, were unfounded. This movie actually does a lot of new creative things within the undead world. It's not the same plot that we got from the first movie. I mean, the two main characters of that original film, played by Alec Baldwin and Geena Davis, are not in this film, so it has to be something completely different. And what Tim Burton and the writers landed on, I actually liked. One of the things I really enjoyed about this movie was more or less the plot of Lydia confronting her past. This power that she has made her a star, but she's been estranged from her daughter, and so having her own father die is a good way for them to get reconnected and basically bond all over again. And Winona Ryder does a really good job as Lydia. She's not the goth girl that she was back in the original movie. She's much older, so she's a little, I don't want to say wiser, because there are points in the movie where Astrid basically calls her out on just ignoring a lot of things that kind of resulted in their separation. But I found Winona Ryder to be good, and Catherine O'Hara as Delia is once again really funny. She's so self-absorbed, so egotistical, that she was really entertaining to watch. And Jenna Ortega is good as well. If there was one actor in this movie who I thought was probably the weakest link, it might be her, but it's more or less because she's directed to be very deadpan, and I can see why, but I didn't find her as entertaining as the other actors. And then of course you have Michael Keaton as the title character himself. He is definitely older this time around, so he doesn't have that same energy that he did in the original film, but Michael Keaton is still very entertaining to watch. And I also really appreciate that this movie doesn't overuse this character. That was another fear of mine, is that this was just going to be the Michael Keaton show, and I'm actually surprised that they kept this character restrained for a lot of it, much like they did with the first movie. So it didn't feel like a Jack Sparrow situation where, okay, this character is the central focus and he is getting on my nerves. They utilized him just right, in my opinion. Justin Theroux is also in this movie, and he plays a really slimy character that is kind of funny in that very cringy, oh my god, you're embarrassing kind of way. Willem Dafoe is having a lot of fun in his role. and the movie has a great look to it. The production design is not done by Bo Welch this time around, but it still maintains that look. It still feels like a Tim Burton movie. Danny Elfman's score is really good once again, and I really love the use of a lot of practical effects and not a whole lot of CG. There is CG in this movie, let's not kid ourselves, but there is a majority of practical effects, practical makeup work. I mean, the sandworm is once again done in stop motion, and it looks just as cool as it did back in 1988. Now, I'd say for a good chunk of this movie, I was really liking it, almost to the point of loving this movie. And then we get into the third act of the film, which doesn't really ruin it, but you could tell that this is where the weakest aspect of the film starts to show, the script. There are several plot lines introduced in this movie that are resolved like that, or are completely forgotten about until we get to this final act. More specifically, the character played by Monica Bellucci. When we're first introduced to her, she has a great introduction. We get a really clear understanding of her relationship to him and why she's out for revenge. But there are several moments where I completely forgot she was in the movie, because most of the focus is on Lydia trying to reunite and rekindle her relationship with her daughter, that once we got to the big climax of the movie, I went, oh yeah, you're in this. Why are you in this again? And the only reason I can think for having this character is to give Michael Keaton more screen time and not have the audience wait to see this character the way they did in the original film. That's about it. And there are some scenes that just go on for too long that utilize popular songs, and I didn't think it had the same impact the way the first movie did. Also, you could say spoilers, but I don't think it's a spoiler to tell you something that doesn't happen. This guy doesn't go Hawaiian. That was a long-running concept for the original idea for the sequel, like decades ago, and not once does he go Hawaiian. So if you're going into this expecting that, just don't. So at the end of the day, I did like this movie more than I didn't. It's got a great visual look to it, the jokes worked, the performances were a lot of fun, but the script is a flat-out mess, and I think had it been a little tighter, I could have said this is easily worth seeing in your lifetime and a great follow-up to that 1998 classic. But as it stands right now, I gotta say it's just good, but it's not great. That third act really did bring things down for me, but not enough to ruin it. If you've been waiting a long time for this sequel, I don't think you'll be disappointed, but just go in knowing that it's not going to beat that original film. And there you go, that's my review for the sequel to Beetlejuice. Ooh. Okay, I think I'm safe. I said it 3 times, but I think we're good. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching the video, and thank you for being subscribed to the channel. I also want to give a special thank you to my YouTube members right here, including our newest member, Real Explorer X. Thank you so much for becoming a member of this channel in the starter pack. If you want to help support the channel even more, you can do so via YouTube memberships for as little as $1.99 a month. Not only do you get early access to all of my videos, but you get exclusive videos that nobody else gets to see, unless you're a YouTube member. So I hope you do consider getting a membership in the future. And until next time, I want to know what you guys think about Beetlejuice. Whatever your opinions are, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. If you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads, and my theme park and travel channel right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.